Let's begin the last sixth part of our lecture. Date collection tools. Date collection is the process of collecting information and measuring target indicators in an established system, which subsequently allows answering relevant questions and evaluating the results of data. The purpose of all date collection is to obtain evidence of data quality, which allows the analyst to provide convincing and reliable answers to the questions posed. Regardless of the field of study or preference for data definition, qualitative, quantitative, careful data collection is essential to the integrity of the study. Methods of collecting information data. Interviews and surveys. Observation, experiment, panel, expert assessment. Survey methods, questionnaire, interview. Survey can be oral, personal, or written. In written survey, participants receive questionnaire forms that they must complete and return to the designate location. Telephone interviews are a relative inexpensive method for conducting surveys of any level of accuracy in terms of sample. Geographic location of responses is not of fundamental importance in terms of the cost of conducting interviews. Disadvantage of using this method: not quite complete control over the respondent's understanding and sincerity. There is no possibility to present visual material samples cards with answer options. The possible impossibility of conducting long interviews. It is difficult to hold interlocutor's attention for more than 15 minutes on the phone. In cities with insufficient telephone coverage, it is impossible to obtain representative sample. Face-to-face interview can be formalized interview has specific survey design, usually questionnaire containing prepared, clearly worded questions and well throughout response model. A formalized interview loses much of its meaning if respondents' responses are not analyzed in terms of their social and demographic, industry, and geographic characteristics. Therefore, it requires the completion of passport, which records the date on each respondent, as dictated by the research program. Such interviews are conducted on the street, in stores, at public events, at respondents' homes, door-to-door service, and so on. Informal interviews are specific methods of collecting information with only topic and goal. There is no specific survey design. Informal interviews can be individual or group. Conducting individual non-formalized interviews such as in-depth interviews and whole tests. In-depth interviews are A series of individual interviews on given topic conducted according a discussion guide. Interviews are conducted by specially trained, highly qualified interviewer who is knowledgeable about the topic and proficient in interview techniques and physiological approaches. Each interview lasts 15-30 minutes and involves active participation by the respondent, including laying out cards, drawing, writes, and so on. Whole tests are in-person semi-structured interviews conducted in specially designed space. Typically, they are located in libraries, stores, lobbies of administrative buildings, and so on. The respondent and interviewer sit at table and interview take place in the structured conversation. The need for whole tests is usually caused by one of several reasons: testing bulky samples and inconvenient to carry around the apartments, or there is no certainty that the apartment will be able to conduct the interview under the necessary conditions. Testing is limited to number of samples. Use special equipment, for example, television and video, and demonstrate material being tested. The interview is conducted in place where potential respondents congregate is complex and not suitable for conversation on your feet. Data collection tools, the consequences of incorrectly collected data may be inability to accurately answer research questions, inability to repeat and verify research data, distort results with resources, and can lead other researchers in unproductive directions. Main categories of data collection tools: quantitative tools, questionnaires, standardized questionnaires with closed or open questions to collect data from large groups of respondents. Example: questionnaire to assess the level of student satisfaction with distance learning. Testing: the use of tests to measure knowledge, skills, physiological characteristics. Example: tests for determining the level of stress according to the scale of Dr. Holmes and Ray. Measurements and experiments. Using equipment or software to collect numerical data. Example: measuring the concentration of pollutants in the air using gas analysis. Data analysis: collection of data from existing database statistics, archives, or software. Example: analysis of student performance, statistics from university database. Quality tools, interviews, structured, semi-structured, or unstructured conversation with research participants. Example: in-depth interview with teachers about challenges of distance learning. Focus groups, group discussions to elicit the opinions and views of participants. Example: focus groups with students to discuss the impact of social media on their motivation. Observation, systematic recording of behavior or events in natural or control setting. Example: observing student interactions in online lessons. Content analysis, the study of text, documents, media, or other sources to identify patterns. Example: analysis of social media posts to study public opinion. Mixed instruments, combination, quantitative and qualitative methods for the deep understanding of problems. Example: surveillance students' quantitative methods followed by interviews to clarify their answers, quantitative, qualitative method. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.